Okay, hello everybody. Let's go ahead and open up the doors to our Zoom room if we could, please, my wonderful co-hosts. Folks, if you are watching us on one of our live streams and you would like to join us here on Daily with Doc, you are more than welcome to by coming to dailywithdoczoom.com. So that's dailywithdoczoom.com. Come on over. And if you have questions, folks, and you're here in the Zoom with us, go ahead and find that raise hand option. Go to the Zoom menu, look for reactions and raise hand, because I will be calling on people who have their hands raised. If you can't raise your hand or you're out on one of the other social media type platforms, you can write questions in the comments also, as my amazing co-hosts are helping me to monitor those different platforms and bring those questions to the table so that we can get answers from the great doctor that we have with us today and every Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program, I am honored to be able to bring to you something that brought me back my life, that allowed me to be able to go from just barely surviving to actually thriving. So folks, listen up. You are in for some information that I had never heard. Yes, I had heard just eat right, and that's all you need to do. I had heard about this supplement being good for this and this supplement being good for this, which I have learned is called fractionated supplementation. Well, based on decades of research of the doctor that we have with us today, your body needs 90 essential nutrients all together, not one here, not one there. You put it all together and the body gets the raw ingredients that it needs each and every time so that it can do what it was designed to do. And that is to thrive and function properly. So if you're not thriving and functioning properly, you're definitely in the right place. If you are, and you know people who aren't, you're also in the right place here with Daily with Doc. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, where we have the good foods, bad foods list that Dr. Wallach will be mentioning many times. So when he goes through all the good things to stay away from, let me correct that. When he goes through all the bad things to stay away from, and you can't write fast enough, fear not, we have them at dailywithdoc.com. We also have replays from our past episodes, including some specials that I've done with Dr. Wallach and also pharmacist Ben Fuchs, using nutrition, folks, so that the body can thrive. And we also have a store there. So all the products that you hear about today, you'll be able to find in our store on dailywithdoc.com. Now, if you were invited by somebody specific, I want you to make sure that you get back with them to order. I also want you to get back with them, please, and thank them for sharing this program with you, because we are a resource for an amazing community of folks who have found what I found, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, maybe more than what I received as far as gaining my health back. They're in this crusade with us. So we want to make sure that if they share information with somebody, that that person gets back with them so that they can be the coach that that person needs to find what is going to be the best fit for them so that they can reach their goals as well. If you are here live with us, please go ahead and raise your hand. Raise your hand early, as we do fill up with questions, and we do stop right at 12:50 so that Dr. Wallach can get on to his next program. So it is my honor and privilege to bring to the screen with me Dr. Joel Wallach, who has a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, studying plants and soils, a doctorate of veterinary medicine, going on to, working with actual live breathing beings. Wait, plants breathe too, they're alive. So let's just go with mammals and amphibians and reptiles and all those things that exotic and domestic veterinarians take care of, and 3 postdoctorates in pathology. And if that wasn't enough, after teaching nutrition at the college level, he became a naturopathic physician so that he could actually talk to us and nobody could say, well, you're not a doctor. Why should I listen to you? Well, folks, he is a doctor. He's also one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetics. So listen up, because Doc, epigenetics was the light that gave me hope. Of all those things that I was told were genetic and I'd have to just live with the rest of my life was a lie. So what do you have to share with us today, Dr. Wallach?
Well, more of the truth. The truth is wonderful. Thanks for sharing your personal story. Okay. And so I love the truth. And today I want to talk about skin. Everybody has skin. And in America alone, each year, just to treat symptoms, okay, of skin issues, not makeup or cosmetics or anything like that, but doctor prescribed treatments, we spend $75 billion a year just to treat skin issues. We're talking about cortisone, prednisone, antibiotics, all kinds of stuff that they put on the skin for skin issues, and they're really not pushing the right buttons. Okay, you'll get some relief, but you're not getting down to the basic root cause of the problem. And to kind of give you a perspective, Parkinson's disease, okay, very, very dangerous disease in human beings, and we're working on that one too. But we spend $52 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And we spend $75 billion a year just to treat skin symptoms. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, everybody has skin. It covers your entire outside body. It helps you control your body temperature, keeping it where it's optimal. Okay, you sweat if you need to get rid of some heat. But you got to watch it because you do need to keep taking in fluids so you don't get dehydrated. You're not taking in all 90 essential nutrients, as Rebecca was talking about. You start getting wrinkles. You start getting blisters. You start getting ulcers. You start getting bugs that start jumping on the skin that's not healthy. You got to start getting cracks. You start getting cracks, okay, in your skin. And you look like you're 25 years older than you really are, okay, because you're missing nutrients. And so this is not difficult. Again, a hair analysis is a good way to find out where you're at with the nutritional minerals, also with the toxic minerals, okay? And so I like a hair analysis as opposed to taking biopsies, because you're going to get a limited amount of information from a surgical biopsy of the skin, okay? If they're suspicious of a skin cancer in a small, it's like the diameter of a pea or a quarter or something like that, they can actually surgically remove it, okay, with a kind of a safe place around the lesion so that you get it all. And oh, good, it wasn't a cancer, or oh, good, it was a cancer, but we got the whole thing. And so these are the sort of approaches that we're talking about here. $5 billion a year for that. Okay, how many nutrients does your skin need? Needs 90 essential nutrients, just like your heart, just like your lungs, just like your intestines, just like your bones, just like your brain. Okay, and so people who think, well, I just eat well and I'm getting everything I need. My doctor said. I just hate that when people say that. My doctor said. Well, if we gave your doctor a test, he probably wouldn't pass the test when it came to nutrition. Okay, and so this is something that we as individuals have to participate, okay, in taking care of our skin. Now, the skin can defend against bugs, viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast and parasites. The skin, again, protects you from cold and heat. Okay. And of course, um, you get clues. You start losing your hair, you start getting cracks and ulcers and wrinkles in your skin. If you're a person of color, you might start getting uh, loss of skin color. And it might just look like somebody just took a brush full of white paint and kind of threw it at you. So you're getting these little white dots all over you because you're not able to produce the skin color everywhere like you should. Okay, to maintain your um, skin color. And this is not difficult to, which I say, diagnose. So you don't have to have 3 PhD degrees to diagnose it. And that's why we came up with these various books. Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We came up with epigenetics. We came up with Rare Earth-Spin Cures. These are books that cover a lot of territory, including the skin. And when you have stuff going on with the skin, it's kind of like, again, the red warning light on your dashboard of your car, because the nutritional deficiencies that are causing your problems in your skin are also causing problems in your bones, and your cartilage, your ligaments and tendons, and your heart, and your lungs, and your liver, and your intestines, and your kidneys, and your brain, and your eyes, and so on. So the same things that are causing skin problems are causing other things. So your skin can be looked at as a red warning light like we have on the dashboard of the car. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minerals, and 3 fatty acids. Our skin needs all of those every day to maintain itself because it's busy. It's got all these things it's doing to maintain your health in optimal levels. Okay. To fend off the bad guys. Okay. You need your skin to be in good shape. And so if you're missing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 out of the 60, that's it. Come on, I'm only missing 5. I still have the other 55. No, that's not good. Okay, you want to do that. Don't even think that way. Okay. And so we have again our basic core program. So let's start there. Very, very economical. Our basic core program, our healthy start pack. It has 90 essential nutrients. Okay, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minerals, and 3 fatty acids. It's the basic stuff that your skin and all other tissues and systems require. Healthy start pack. And then I like to throw in because skin is collagen, okay? It's like tendons and ligaments. It's the same tissues as tendons and ligaments and cartilage and so forth. So in addition to the healthy start pack, I like to throw in the MSM. I like to throw in the MSM. Per 100 pounds of body weight, you want to take 1 bottle a month of the MSM, take 3 twice a day, and it will help you support repair and replacement of dead connective tissue, including your bone marrow, your skin, that kind of thing. So it's imperative that you think in those terms. Then I also like the collagen peptides. The collagen peptides, it has collagen from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. You want to scoop of that with your morning drink and scoop of your evening drink. Comes in powder. And we also want you to think in terms of things you put on your skin. Okay, you can put things on your skin because your skin will absorb a lot of stuff through the skin. Okay, it's another surface area to absorb things. And so you want to use our plant-derived minerals. You can do that on your skin. Okay, now we have a wonderful story about how the skin saves lives. I mean, the skin literally saves lives. Pastor Mike Freeman, okay, from the East Coast, big church there. He was in a coma, I don't know, for 6 weeks in a hospital, and the doctor calls his family and says, look, pastor's got minutes, maybe hours to live. He won't be able to understand you. He's unconscious. He's been unconscious for 6 weeks. But if you want to come and say your goodbyes, so at least you feel like you've tried to communicate with him, you better do it now. Okay. And so on the way to the hospital, one of his church members, one of our big associates with longevity, okay, Linda Tyler, she calls me up and says, is there anything we can do for Pastor Mike? And she tells me the situation. I said, well, does he have a G tube so we can give him something, some nutrition that way? No. Does he have an IV? We can give him nutrition that way? No. Okay. I just want you to take a quart bottle of our liquid plant minerals, okay, just extracted from plants, 75 minerals. And I want you to take a half a cup, half a teacup, 3 locations, 3 times a day, um, up in the chest, okay, on the sternum, and the upper belly and the lower belly, and then 3 times on the back, okay, between the shoulder blades and the upper back and lower back, again, just for these plant minerals. And let's see if we can't get them to absorb them. Well, in 2.5 days, he wakes up. And he goes right away, he goes to the church, to where they have TV and radio studios. He spent 12 hours telling the world his story about his health issues and what happened when we rubbed these plant minerals, God's tools, plant minerals on him. Okay. And we actually made a tool out of that so everybody can get the story. Okay.
I got it right here, Doc.
Oh, you got it?
Yes, I do.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. It's praise the Lord and pass the 90. Praise the Lord and pass the 90. It's kind of like those old military things. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. You want to be able to fight back yourself, but you're also asking the good Lord to help. So praise the Lord and pass the 90. Okay. And it's one of those things where the minerals were totally absorbed. And within weeks, he was recovering, I mean, completely. In a month or so, you wouldn't even know it was the same guy. Okay. And of course, his story is in this flip chart that's coming out. It's going to press tomorrow. Okay. And he has one of the great stories in there, because just using our liquid plant minerals on his skin is like intravenous. He absorbed them almost like intravenously. And he had minutes or hours to live, according to the doctors. And now, guess who's doing his church meetings every day, 7 days a week? Well, Pastor Mike. Okay. And his whole team is working that now. We made a tool out of it, because just thank goodness he recorded his report on the TV cameras and the radio recordings.
Well, I did an interview with him, Dr. Wallach.
Yeah, and we did an interview with him. Okay, and so all that's on this DVD and CD set. Praise the Lord and pass the 90. My interview's on there with him. His talking to the general public in the world through all his equipment at the church. And so this is a great, great, great story. And it really tells you the importance of minerals, the importance of the skin. Just think about that. The skin absorbed all these nutrients so he could live. The skin absorbed all these nutrients so he could live. I mean, he's got to be kissing on all his skin all over his whole body, okay? Because his skin saved his life. And of course, all his church members, including Miss Linda, who, told his wife and herself to put these minerals all over him when he was unconscious. And 2.5 days later, he wakes up, and it took him obviously weeks to totally recover, because I mean, he was near death. It took him a couple of weeks or maybe a month to totally recover. But he went into a functional state in 2.5 days after being in a coma for 6 weeks. And so you cannot, I get all emotional when I hear that story and tell the story over and over and over. It tells you how important minerals are. And the good Lord gave us many, many ways to obtain them, okay? Including orally, including through the skin, and so on. Now, we also have hair, skin, and nails. Hair, skin, and nails is a capsule, okay? It's a capsule or a tablet, I don't remember which. I just take
It's a capsule.
It's a capsule, yeah, so I thought. And I'm going to increase, because my hair color is okay, but I still have some white hair and my mustache. So I'm going to up my hair, skin, and nails. Instead of 3 twice a day, I'm going to do three times a day, the hair, skin, and nails, and see if that doesn't, one other thing, I use Xera test, XERA dash test. It's the raw materials for my Sertoli cells in my testicles to make testosterone. We have Xerafem for girls. So if girls have problems with their skin, they can use the Xerafem, and guys with skin problems can use the Xera test. Okay, it produces the hormones, which is good for all your tissues in your body, including your skin. So with that said, I get extremely excited about the fact that we have tools that work. We have the nutrition to be employed by the tools, and they work. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca and see if you have any comments or questions.
Well, Dr. Wallach, Pastor Mike Freeman is just one more story of thousands and thousands of stories.
Yes.
Where you're going from just barely surviving to thriving. And we have so many stories that are untold, Dr. Wallach, on the benefits of the 90 essential nutrients and all of the work that you have put in to bringing these products to the world.
To the world,
not,
yep.
Not just where you were in Oregon with your clinics, or Mexico with your clinics, or California with your clinics, but around the world. And yes, folks, Dr. Wallach, he has had clinics where he was seeing patients in his office, and that just wasn't enough. He wasn't able to reach the people and make the impact in people's health that he knew God had called him to do. And that's when he decided to take on a platform like Youngevity, create Youngevity, with the marketing that Youngevity offers, where we talk to people all the time and saying, oh, I love this product, or I love this book, or have you gone to this restaurant? And that's basically what we do, is we're recommending products that actually work. And instead of just, the company or the restaurant making the dollar, we get a little thank you check. So folks, it's a great system, and it's been given a bad name by some companies, but Dr. Wallach, I think you were brilliant in bringing Youngevity to the world in a direct sales type situation, because a product just sitting on the shelf can't tell you the story.
Yeah, well, I knew I had to build an army. That's and I was getting interviewed. People were, the reporters were always asking, well, how do you expect to get this into the world? I said, well, I'm going to build an army. And their eyes would get this big. I said, I'm going to build an army, and this army is going to take this information to the world, because even God built an army. God didn't do everything by himself. God built an army of angels. Okay. And if God needed to build an army, we need to build an army. Okay. And so I'm following the good Lord's example by building an army. And when we have something that works, we make sure that everybody has access to it. And it's one of those things where we deal with over 600 different diseases, and we have 3,000 products. And some of them are, you have the same product. Will be a liquid, a pill, and a capsule. Okay. Just like we have let's see here. Oh, the I-26. It's in a chewable, it's in a capsule, and it's in a powder. Okay. It's in 3 forms. There you go. And that rebuilds your brain and your spinal cord and the nerve coatings. Okay. And so if you have diseases like Alzheimer's disease, because a lot of times when you have a skin issue, that's not the only issue you have. You can have Alzheimer's disease and have eczema. You can have Parkinson's disease and have wrinkles. You can have Lou Gehrig's disease and have all kinds of stuff going on with your skin and your hair. And so you need an army of trained people, okay? They're almost like technicians, and you train them And this is why we have 23 best-selling books, which we're working on for the Army. And of course, this flip chart is essentially a different form of a book. It's like a book, but it's in a form in which if you even have a 6th grade reading level, but you want to give this information to somebody in your family, 4 or 5 people in your family, or you want to give it to your workplace or the neighborhood or your church, you can be telling the story to many people with this flip chart. And if you just read the story for each of these diseases in that flip chart, you're giving them information at the PhD and medical doctor level, even if you only have a 6th grade reading level yourself.
Right. And Dr. Wallach, a lot of people don't realize, and this is something I didn't realize. My hair was limp, thin. I mean, I was taking every time I took my shower, it was handfuls of hair. I didn't know my hair could be this curly. I've been sick so long. And this is all natural, folks. All natural, natural color, everything. But one thing that I didn't realize was my feet, my heels cracked so bad. And I always had hangnails on the sides of my fingers. And, you know, I'd pick at them, cut them, and I'd have bleeding around my fingernails. My heels were cracking and bleeding. And that's all because of nutritional deficiencies. I have no problems with that anymore. I don't even have to think about it. And until I saw a picture that somebody had sent in yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I remember those days. And I looked down, I'm like, I don't have to even think about that anymore. It's not a concern. It's just you give the body what it needs, folks. The body can do some amazing things without you even thinking about it, but being intentional on making sure that you have the right things going in and keeping the bad things out.
Well said. You're going to be promoted to the next grade.
Yes. Love promotions, Dr. Wallach. Folks, the content of this program is to provide educational information on the importance of nutrition. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. The FDA requires us to let you know. And the products that are mentioned are not meant to treat, diagnose, cure any diseases. But it's simple. The medical community makes it sound difficult. It gives these long names that you can't even pronounce, thinking that, oh goodness, I have something that's going to end the world. Well, yeah, if you have that mindset, it's going to have a poor outcome. But folks, when you give the body what it needs and you have a positive mindset, knowing that God doesn't create junk, things are going to look brighter. And that's where I found the hope that I needed to keep going. So, Dr. Wallach, we have lots of hands up. I have lots of questions coming in through the chats. And I want to ask a question before we get into the specific people. Somebody asked a question yesterday that we didn't get to, and it has to do with honey. What are your thoughts on honey as a sweetener?
Okay, well, honey is a sugar. Okay, comes from the flowers, and the bee harvests that, and it's in a syrup form. Okay, and so it's kind of preserved for some time, but it's a sweetener. Okay, it does have calories in it, so you can get some calories out of it. It does have a few vitamins in there that'll vary from place to place, a few minerals from place to place where it's harvested. But you got to watch it. You can't be using a lot of honey any more than you can be using a lot of white sugar, okay, because it'll give you the same problems. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having maybe like a quarter of a teaspoon of honey um, on your little gluten-free pancakes in the morning. They're made out of rice or made out of
A quarter of a
corn.
teaspoon, Doc? That's just a teaser.
Okay, well, remember, if you start taking tablespoons of it, you're getting too much sugar.
Yes, you're right. It has a high glycemic index, which then affects blood sugar, and you raise the blood sugar. And if the body isn't functioning right, it does damage, no matter what the sweetener is, right?
That's correct. And again, um, you go back thousands of years ago, the people who lived the longest came from the land flowing with milk and honey. Okay, it wasn't cow's milk or goat's milk or camel's milk. It was glacial milk. It was ground up rock dust in the streams coming down from the side of the mountains that looked like milk because white. They didn't have the ability 3,000 years ago to analyze it and realize it was a mineral source. Chapter 10 of the book, Rare Earths and Cures, goes into the land flowing with milk and honey. Chapter 10, okay, is entitled Glacial Milk, okay? And so this is where all these minerals were coming from for these people, okay? And the honey part, why was honey always there with the land flowing with milk and honey? Well, when you have all these minerals, there are more flowers. And there are more flowers, there are more bees, and more bees, more flowers, more honey. Okay. And so this was the good Lord set up the system so people would take care of the flowers. They could sell them. They had the honey, which they could store over the winter time and have it little bits at a time. There was something you could store without refrigeration because it was so concentrated, it didn't get moldy or anything like that. But the land flowing with milk and honey is biblical. Okay. It goes back over 3,000 years ago, 3,000, 5,000 years ago. And it's imperative that people know that the milk in the land flowing with milk and honey is not the same from place to place to place because it's based on the number of minerals that are in those mountains or being ground up by the glaciers. Okay. And so in that chapter 10 of the book, Rare Earths and Cures, glacial milk, we have analyses, I don't know, maybe a half a dozen different glacial milks. And some of them have 3 minerals, some have 15, some have 25, some have 40, some have 50, some have 75. They're not all exactly the same. Okay. And so some lands flowing with milk and honey were kind of ho-hum for longevity, but the ones that had 50 minerals, 75 minerals, those are the ones that had the long life.
So we've got a question out on YouTube, and KK wants to know what do you recommend to eat when they crave sweet stuff or something sweet? So let's talk real quick about cravings, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, well, cravings is called pica, P-I-C-A. Look up the word pica. Pica is when you're craving. It can be called cribbing. Okay, where you're chewing on the fence. This is why people get obese. They're trying to eat something. They're trying to find something that's going to satisfy these cravings. Okay, and so when you have these cravings, that means you are minerally deficient. It's like the red warning light in the dashboard of your car when you have these cravings. Okay, pica, cribbing.
Okay, so you've got cravings, and it doesn't matter. Does it matter, Dr. Wallach, if it's a sweet craving or a salty craving,
No, it doesn't matter.
greasy food craving?
It doesn't matter.
All right, because I know it's possible because I had those things. And you're absolutely right, Dr. Wallach. When I started putting the minerals into my body, those cravings went away so I could make wiser choices, and the weight fell off. So I'm down 100 pounds as of right now, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's the nutrition, Dr. Wallach, and the food choices, not a whole lot of extraneous exercise that got me to where I'm at. So I am happy about that. So
Yeah.
thank you, Doc.
Well, going back to the Bible days, 3,000 years ago, in the Old Testament, there's 21 stories about the land flowing with milk and honey. There's 21 stories. They range from 2 paragraphs to 2 pages in length. And then there's 100 mentions in the Old Testament where they're talking about a person for a reason. They say, oh, they came from the land flowing with milk and honey. There's 100 mentions like that. Okay, so it was well known that there was some relationship between the land flowing with milk and honey and long, healthful lives.
So there's significance to that land flowing with milk and honey, folks.
Oh, yes.
When I mentioned that many times, there is significance. Well, Dr. Wallach, let's go to some questions. And the first question that I want to ask is coming in from Coach Rod. He has a 51-year-old female, 5'5", 185 pounds, with lupus and sarcoidosis. No blood pressure issues, no blood sugar issues. Dr. Wallach, let's talk about lupus and sarcoidosis.
Is it sarcoidosis?
Exactly what you said. Isn't that what I said?
Okay. All right. Well, both of those are nutritional deficiency diseases. Doctors will call them autoimmune. Your body's attacking itself. Okay. And lupus, you get skin problems, you get digestive problems, you get respiratory problems. And doctors say, see, your body's attacking itself. No, you're missing nutrients. And so here's a case where you want to get a hair analysis and find out exactly what you're missing. Get that book again, Rare Earths Cures, Chapter 10, Glacial Milk. It tells you how to collect the hair. I think it starts at page 272. Okay, there you go. And
Use it swapped, and Dr. Wallach, I just have it bookmarked. And you're
okay,
absolutely 272.
well, there you go. And so I've looked at it a few times. And so once you start taking these nutrients and staying away from the bad stuff, lupus can go away. I don't care if you've had it for 5, 10 years and doctors are kind of dampening down the symptoms with cortisone and prednisone, that kind of stuff, but they're not getting ready to the basic root cause. And sarcoidosis is scar tissue. Sarcoids is scar tissue. Okay. And it can be from many deficiencies, including the same ones that are involved with lupus. And it depends on what you're eating, which you get. Do you get lupus or do you get sarcoidosis? You can have both at the same time. Sarcoidosis is particularly normal tissue being replaced with scar tissue. Okay. In lupus, your bone marrow is all messed up. Okay. Because it's not getting the nutrients it needs. Skin problems, also bowel problems. And in both cases, sarcoidosis and lupus, you could have both of them at the same time. But doctors want to throw them into autoimmune diseases where the body's attacking itself, or genetic, or both. Okay? It's not just simple nutritional deficiencies.
So throwing a steroid at it to suppress the immune system's natural response, is that the right thing to do?
No, but it's what the doctors do, because in 3 days, all the itching and pain and stuff like that will be subdued and maybe even gone. Oh, I just love my doctor. I mean, I had this for years and nobody got it diagnosed. My doctor diagnosed it as an autoimmune disease. He gave me this cortisone, prednisone, and in 3 days' time, all my symptoms are gone. And then 3 months later, they'll die because they didn't get the nutrition that was necessary to make everything work properly.
So what do you recommend, Dr. Wallach, for somebody that is dealing with lupus and sarcoidosis?
Sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis.
Yeah. Well, they need to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no brown oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks and carbonated water need to go. Then per 100 pounds of body weight, and this gal weighed what, 100 and what?
160 pounds.
160 pounds. She needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, full dose thing twice a day. She needs 2 bottles a month of MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone rakes, bone itself. Let's see here, bone marrow, so you can make white blood cells and antibodies, and also to help you make red blood cells for carrying oxygen around, and platelets so they don't bleed to death. Okay. And how long do you have to stay on the 90 essential nutrients? Well, as long as you want to live. Okay. This is not something you take while you have a problem, and then when the problem subsides or goes away, okay, I can stop taking all this stuff now. I'm just go back to, my doctor says just eat right, I'll get everything I need. No, that's not true. Any doctor who says that should have their license suspended for at least a year, and they should be put into a training course, kind of a jail with a training course, so you can't see patients anymore for a year. because these things are reversible, they're preventable, they're not genetic. We have 3 people in our family with it. Well, do they all live in the same county? Well, they all live in the same house. Well, they're all eating grandma's recipes, and she didn't have the problem. Okay, well, there you go.
There you go. So, Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, MSM Ultra, collagen, Ultimate Daily Classic
Yep.
to promote blood flow and take the nutrition throughout the body.
And it wouldn't hurt to throw in the rebound or sports drink instead of soft drinks and that kind of stuff.
Well, and the I-26.
I-26, absolutely.
So
it makes the collagen, it makes the
cholesterol.
myelin, the white matter in the brain and the spinal cord and all the coverings of the nerves.
Yep, absolutely. Plus, it takes care of all those bad pathogens, folks, that can be hiding within the digestive system, keeping the food from breaking down and keeping the body from being able to thrive also. So I absolutely love the functions of the I-26. Well, Dr. Wallach, we're going to go to the hands that are up right now. And folks, if you are on the phone, there's an option where you can raise your hand also. So if you do *6, that mutes and unmutes you. But if you do *9, that raises your hand, and do *9 again to lower your hand. So first we're going to go all the way to South Africa, and Albert, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have a question for Dr. Wallach?
Good evening, Dr. Wallach. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Doctor, my question is, alles van die beste. Doctor, my question is that when somebody has been on gluten their whole life and they decide to get off gluten, what happens within the intestine that starts removing the gluten from the intestine so that the villi can grow back?
Okay, well, the gluten in the intestines is something that kind of moves through the intestines. There'll be a certain amount stored there, but there's a turnover. Your intestinal villi are constantly trying to have babies, have baby villi to replace the ones that have been killed by the gluten. And so as soon as you get off all the bad stuff, you start taking the 90 essential nutrients, that kicks in, and suddenly now all those villi start growing again. And, you can see results within maybe a week or 2 weeks. And then within months, it's like you're home free.
No, that's wonderful. Thanks, doctor.
All right, great question.
Goeiemorgen.
Goeienaand. Lekker slap.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for that little bit of conversation there too. And now we have to go look it up and figure out what exactly did they say.
It was in Afrikaans.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have a question for Dr. Wallach today? Unmute yourself, Marilyn.
Sorry. I was clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. Hi, everybody. Say, you were Dr. Wallach, you had said something about biopsies a little bit. Can you go into a little bit more detail, the difference between the biopsy results versus a hair analysis? Because you said the biopsy, why is it not significant results as opposed to the hair analysis?
Okay, well, a biopsy of the skin doesn't give you an analysis of the mineral content of the skin. It'll tell you if you have cancer, it'll tell you you have scar tissue, that kind of stuff. Whereas the hair analysis gives you all the nutritional minerals that are in your hair, all the toxic minerals that are in your hair. You can't get from a blood test, okay, or a biopsy. That's why we came up with a hair analysis.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn. And next, let's move right over to Malcolm. Malcolm, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Yeah, I'm 71 years old, about 5'9", 155 pounds. Been pretty healthy all my life because I've been taking vitamins and minerals for a long time. I've got what's called Fuchs dystrophy. My ophthalmologist says I need a cornea transplant. Just wondering what could help with that.
I'm sorry.
My blood pressure.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Back up a minute. Back up a minute. What dystrophy do you have?
Fuchs. Fuchs.
Fuchs dystrophy. Okay. And how does that manifest itself?
He says the cells in my cornea are dying. They're supposed to pump liquid out of the cornea. They're not. So
Okay,
he
so it's
says
an
I got
eye.
like,
It's an eye disease.
it's an eye thing.
Okay.
Right.
Do you have any ringing in your ears?
No.
Tinnitus. Okay. Do you have any balance problems?
Occasionally, yes.
Okay.
Of course, 71 years old. I mean, I guess that just comes with it. But anyway, yeah.
No, it doesn't come with age. Okay.
Okay.
How many times you wake up at night to urinate? Once, 3 times, 5 times?
2 to 3, I guess, depending on how much I drink.
Okay. Do you have any high blood pressure or diabetes?
Blood pressure is running around 140 over 75, 150 over 75, somewhere around there. No diabetes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you might want to get an MRI of your skull and see if you have osteoporosis of the skull. Because when you get, little balance problems, you get maybe some ringing in the ears, you get stuff going on in your eyes. The skull, when you have osteoporosis of the skull, if you can show that, Becca, the skull gets thicker and it squeezes those nerves, including the optic nerve. And so they look at the eye and they can't see anything really wrong with the eye, but the skull is squeezing that optic nerve, the optic artery, and the optic vein, causing those problems. That's a normal skull, 1/4 inch thick, looking down on the brain at autopsy. Okay, up, you have to raise it now a little bit. Raise it more, raise it more. There you go. That one, also at autopsy, the top of the skull has been removed, looking down on the brain, but you see that
I
the
don't see
skull
her
is 1.5 inches thick. Okay, squeezing those 12 cranial nerves. Now that is not bone, that is scar tissue because the bone is gone. Okay, this is osteoporosis of the skull. And you need to get a hold of this book. It's all in your head. It's a book in the CD set, okay, which these pictures are in. And there's a chapter for each of the cranial nerves, and then the CD is for the spinal cord. And there's about 130 diseases you can get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, and so you've got several of them, and so I would be looking at that. So your body weight is 155 pounds. Yeah, 155 pounds. None of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks and carbonated water need to go. And then 155 pounds, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day, 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, or dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, discs between the vertebrae, bone makes bone cell, skin, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And then you also need to take the collagen peptides, take a scoop of that with your morning drink, scoop with the evening drink. I would also throw in the, let's see here. I would go with the, let's see here, the brain. We need brain stuff. What brain stuff would you give somebody here, Becca?
Well, Dr. Wallach, I think you mentioned the synaptive, if not synaptive. And then we also have Renew IQ, which is an amazing brain product. It's a yummy tasting drink mix.
Okay, Renew IQ. Okay. And there you go. And so you do all those things. The I-26 it helps rebuild the brain. Okay. And the myelin, the white matter of the brain and the spinal cord. And you're going to see benefit. Okay. But you're going to have to do these things. You just can't say, well, I've got some stuff going on here and I'll just go to the doctor and get a cortisone shot. That's not going to work.
No. Also, my skin tears easily and I bruise easily.
Okay, well, that's where, again, you want to be sure you're getting the collagen peptides. You want to get the collagen peptides. You want to get a hold of the glucogel, okay, and rebuild the skin. You don't forget the eye. Don't forget the I-26. Don't forget the hair, skin, and nails. Hair, skin, and nails. Got stuff like that going on. You want to take at least 3 of those twice a day. You might want to take three times a day. Until as things get better, then you can take 3 twice a day for maintenance. But I'd go with three times a day. And kind of go in that direction. You want to give your body a source what it needs, because it's not true you can get everything you need just by eating well. That's not true. Plants cannot make minerals. Plants do make vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids. Okay, but plants do not make minerals. And minerals make up 2/3 of the 90 essential nutrients. Okay.
When I can, if I exercise vigorously real quick, like when I play with the dog for 10 minutes, I get out, not 10 minutes, 15 seconds, I get out of breath. But yet I can go on a 2-mile walk or a 5-mile bike ride with no problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's a type of exercise you're doing, okay? But we do have oxybody. Okay, we have rebound or sports drink. I would throw the rebound in there. Okay, we have the sticks, we have the canister. We do have the cans. If you're going to use the cans, you got to pop the tops on them the night before, put them in the refrigerator so all the carbonation is gone by morning. If you need something quick, the rebound and the sticks. Okay, there's 30 sticks in a box. We have the canister. There's 36 servings in the canister, but there's no carbonation in there, so that's good. That'll help you. Okay.
Wallach, if I may interrupt real quick. So when he's doing a walk, he's upright and straight. When he's bending down, playing with the dog, he's causing pressure on some nerves that could be going on, which would just be kind of more of a effective osteoporosis of the skull.
Mm-hmm.
And I know from listening, the nerves go to the heart, they go to the lungs, which could either one of them could cause some shortness of breath and lack of energy. Is that a good assessment?
Yeah, and that's why I recommend the rebound.
All
It's
right.
also, since you bring that up, it is interesting. Sometimes if I just look up with my head, I get dizzy.
Yeah, I'd get an MRI, okay, of your skull, because the odds are you have osteoporosis of the skull. Do you have anything going on with your heart rate? Do you have an irregular heart rate or fast heart rate?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, I apologize at that time.
Yep, you've got to go, Dr. Wallach. Thank you so much, Malcolm, for your question. Great question. Dr. Wallach, we will see you tomorrow on Daily with Doc. Folks, you are watching dailywithdoc.com. Thank you so much for joining us here. If I could get my co-hosts up, that would be fantastic, as I am getting Dr. Wallach out of the room so he can move on to his next program, because folks, he's a busy man and we don't want to keep somebody else waiting for him. So my co-hosts, I could not do this without them. We've got Sherry Browning, who is helping let people in. She's helping put information and watching the chat, and also on different platforms, watching questions that are coming in from there as well. And we had questions that we did not get to. I apologize, we're limited on time. So please go to our website, dailywithdoc.com, use that contact option, and we will get some answers to you using Dr. Wallach's recommendations. And we have the ability to do like direct talk with Dr. Wallach each and every day. So we'll get his recommendations for you. And folks, there's a lot of times where the protocol that Dr. Wallach recommends just doesn't fit somebody's budget. We have been trained to be able to use what's going on, what your goals are, and tailor make something specifically for you that's going to help you reach your goals. Maybe not as fast as what Dr. Wallach is recommending with the optimal recommendations, but folks, the body can do some amazing things. So Sherry, thank you so much for doing that. Sorry, I took that bunny trail. Marilyn, who is putting in the chat just dictation of what Dr. Wallach recommends, plus other information that is helpful and beneficial, that gives you tools in your toolbox to be able to make better choices, help yourself, and share with others to help them. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for doing that. We have Albert way down in South Africa bringing in questions like he did today, some great questions that a lot of people are thinking about and just aren't here to ask. So we'll be able to use these questions as well and answer questions that people have. But Albert, thank you so much for just having a heart for people and being here with us, even when it's not convenient hours. So thank you, Albert. And we have the Assistant Executive Production Manager, AJ, who is here, making sure that everything is going in the right direction, bringing in questions as he's watching the different platforms as well, and just really helping us make this the best program we possibly can and getting it out to as many people as we can. And folks, that's where you can come into play also. You're not hearing this program just by chance. There is a purpose. And I truly believe that you know somebody that this information can benefit. So share this information with those around you. If you're on social media, we have a giveaway that will give you points that will then could possibly end you up with some free products as I'm doing this giveaway. Those who share the program, first you have to go to dwdgiveaway.com. That's dwdgiveaway.com. Sign up for the giveaway and click the different platforms that you are on, but make sure that you go to that platform, look us up, and like or subscribe to our channels. And hey, leave us a comment. Let us know that you are there. We love to know where we are reaching around the world. So make sure you sign up for the giveaway. And folks, again, if you were referred to this program by somebody specific, please make sure that you get back with them. If not, then we have an amazing team here at Daily with Doc and a phone team. If you call 855-949-3377, this is for those in Canada and United States. If you're on WhatsApp, make sure that you go to dailywithdoc.com, use that contact option, and let us know that you're on WhatsApp. Submit your questions there, and we will have somebody reach out to you and help you figure out what is needed and how to get it to you. So until next time, thank you so much. My name is Becca Dukes, and it is my honor and privilege to bring to you empowering information that actually works. Bye for now. Bye.